Good morning, everyone. Bon matin tout le monde. My name is Faris Al-Soud, and I am the proud member of Parliament for Mississauga Centre. For those of you who call Mississauga home, it's great to see you as always. And for those of you who don't, welcome to our beautiful city. Now, there's quite the lineup behind me, but it is my distinct pleasure to welcome my good friend, Minister Champagne. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for this important conversation. Monsieur le Ministre, vous serez toujours le bienvenu chez nous. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're gathered here today on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. The land is also part of the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and Wyandot nations. We recognize and honor the enduring presence, history, and stewardship of the Indigenous peoples who have cared for this land since time immemorial. Public safety is foundational. When people feel safe, communities thrive. Residents and business owners must be able to live, work, and invest in their futures without fear, coercion, or disruption. The measures being introduced today reflect exactly that, a commitment to protecting our communities, supporting law enforcement, and ensuring accountability. With that, it is my pleasure to welcome the Mayor of Mississauga, Her Worship Carolyn Parrish, to share her remarks. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome to everyone. Welcome particularly to Minister Champagne, who has been entertaining us for the last 20 minutes. He's so excited about his announcement. It's really fun to watch. Bienvenue, Mississauga. That's the best I can do. Welcome also to Minister Sidhu, Minister Valdez, Minister Ali, my good buddy, Minister Kosendova, Bashta, and our great partner with Peel Regional Police, Deputy Chief Nick Milanovic, who's representing Chief Nish, who does a lot to keep us all safe. I thank you all for coming. We are happy to host members of the federal government. We have a fantastic federal team here and really appreciate them. I want to start by saying we are all partners. We are all stronger for the spirit of cooperation. I'm thrilled Minister Champagne has chosen to make an announcement here. The facts about extortion are frightening and appalling. We share the concern that this criminal violence has become an epidemic in our communities. We recognize the urgency to deal with this dangerous problem. What you are announcing today will benefit the people of Mississauga and all of Canada. As an important side note, I also want to thank you, Minister Champagne, for your federal colleagues for the latest installment. I can't not say this. $28 million from the Housing Fund, because we are so good at building houses. We are leaders in providing local incentives to inspire our developers and builders, but could not be successful without your assistance. We look forward to the morning's announcement. Merci. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well done. Very well said. Good morning, everyone. Bon matin tout le monde. It's a real pleasure to be in Mississauga this morning for a very consequential announcement this morning. I want to say thank you, Mayor Parrish, for the introduction, but also your leadership, not only here in Mississauga, but in Ontario and in our nation. And I'm always glad to be here to have good news for you, Mayor. I'll come back again, and certainly pleasure to join everyone from the Peel region. We are here this morning for a very significant announcement. Our message to criminals is both powerful and simple. Enough is enough. And this morning, we're going to double down on measures to fight extortion. That is the key message that I'm sending to all those who are listening and watching at home, and will read about these announcements today. But before I go further, let me acknowledge a number of people who have decided to join us this morning, because they understand the importance of what we're doing today. I want to say I have a number of colleagues, and I hope you see we are united in our voice and our action to fight extortion. And I want to say, President Ali from the Treasury Board, thank you for being here, sir, and thank you for your leadership in the community. I have the pleasure of serving with you, and I see what you can do and you've done. Minister Sidhu, which is reshaping Canada's international trade in a way that we've not seen in a long time. I want to say to my dear friend, Rechie Valdez, she's an amazing leader. She's done great things. Always a pleasure to be with you. I want to say to Faris, the youngest member of our team, and the MP from this region, from this city. You're doing great, my friend, and it's not by accident that you're here this morning with us and introducing the discussion we have. Charles Souza, which everyone knows in this province, served with distinction. Sonia Sidhu, which is also with us. Sonia is just here. Amandeep is with us somewhere. Amandeep, here you are. Ikwender is with us. Peter Fonseca, my dear friend. And I hope I forgot nobody. Oh, Ikra Khalid, so sorry. Listen, if I show you the list that I received this morning, you'll see that everyone wanted to be here, and Ikra is a big voice in our caucus and someone who's been fighting. I also want to say I texted my dear friend Doug Ford yesterday as well, and he made sure that we have representative from the provincial government, because we understand the only way we're going to succeed is by working together. And I want to thank you to the MPPs that are here and the minister for joining us this morning. I appreciate that. Mayor, thank you for allowing us to be here in Mississauga. Obviously, this is an issue for many families, business owners, workers here in Mississauga, but it goes beyond, obviously, Mississauga, Brampton and the Peel region, and also in other parts of our country. I want to say also thank you to Arikat Singh, the Deputy Mayor of Brampton. Thank you, Deputy. You'll have a lot of work after the announcement today. To Nick, my new friend, the Deputy Chief of Police. The Mayor was right. I did spend 20 minutes talking to him, but when you see the Chief of Police smiling, you know that this is real. This is not one of those announcements to look good. This is not an announcement just to make an announcement. This is about concrete measures that will make a difference for law enforcement. And when you see the Deputy Chief of Police saying, yeah, this is what is going to help us to make a difference, you know you're on the right track. And I assured him, if that's not enough, we'll double down again to make sure that with our law enforcement partner, we can do that. I want to also acknowledge our colleagues from the RCMP, which are doing an amazing amount of work. They are great partners. And by the way, let's try to applaud all the men and women who serve in our country. They keep us safe. They deserve all our respect, our support, and that's what we're giving them this morning. New tools in the toolbox to fight crime. And I want to say thank you to also Mike Duham, the RCMP Commissioner, with whom I exchanged about the announcement this morning. Sarah Paquette from Fintrack, she is the lady leading up the agency where we're going to put boots on the ground, helping our law enforcement partners across the country to fight extortion, to combat extortion. Thank you to you and your team. The moment I sent you that notice, that instructions to double down, you responded and you said, yes, Minister, we will do it. And we will be there to support law enforcement. I want to say to Peter Rochledge, the superintendent at OSFI, may not be known by most Canadians, but someone who is known by all the banking community in our country. Peter and I have been working with the CEOs of all the Canadian banks to make sure that they do their part. And I'm glad that we have many representatives. I think all the banks and financial institutions are represented this morning. Peter and I made sure that they would be part of this endeavor we have to combat extortion. And I think that with that, I have Jimmy Zettler, the RCMP Commissioner Office. I think I acknowledge you, sir, and all the RCMP officers, the men and women who do a lot of work, and all, obviously, the representative of the bank. I think the message for Canadians watching at home this morning is simple. We speak with one voice to combat economic crime. And this is the team that's going to make sure that we have new tools in our toolbox. It was really important for me to be here this morning in the Peel region. First, to meet the mayor, to meet the men and women who are on the front line, to reassure families and businesses who have been sadly affected by the rise of extortion. I've heard many stories of people who would say they have family members, neighbors, people in their community who have suffered from what we've seen in extortion in that particular region. For too many people, extortion is not an abstract concept anymore. It is a threat that is sent to their phone. It is a business owner deciding whether it is safe to open. It is families feeling unsafe in their own communities. That's not the Canada that I know. That's not the Canada that we want. My message to all of you, we hear you, we support you, and today we're taking decisive and concrete actions to detect, deter, and disrupt financial crime activity in your neighborhood. These crimes target more than finances. They undermine people's sense of security, and Canadians deserve to feel safe where they live and where they work. Extortion is also a sophisticated financial crime. I can assure you, having spent time with the expert, they will tell you this is evolving, fast evolving. We even discussed that with our G7 partners, how we can work together as nations to make sure that we fight financial crime which are going beyond our borders. These criminal networks rely on moving money quietly to financial systems, like I said, often across borders, to fund their operations and try to avoid detection. Well, I have news for them today. We're going to double down to deter and disrupt and distract what you're doing. That's why one of the most powerful tools we have is financial intelligence. Because when we follow the money, we expose the networks behind these crimes, we identify those which are responsible, and we disrupt their ability to operate, whether it's here in the Peel region, in Canada, and even internationally. Aujourd'hui, j'annonce une série de mesures concrètes pour renforcer la réponse du Canada face à l'extorsion et mieux protéger les Canadiens et Canadiennes, notamment grâce à une collaboration accrue avec les institutions financières du Canada et avec un rôle élargi pour le Centre d'analyse des opérations financières, des opérations et déclarations financières du Canada. To strengthen our follow the money strategy, I have directed the CEO of FinTrack, in fact, a week ago, because we knew we could not wait. This is an important issue for families and workers in the region, to take immediate action to prioritize and mobilize resources to support law enforcement in detecting and disrupting extortion, and by deploying liaison officers on the ground to work alongside our law enforcement partners in selected regions of the country. This has never been done before. We learned best practices when we decided to come together as a team to fight fentanyl. And I must say, I want to acknowledge the FinTrack team and you, your leadership. You responded to the call of duty. You said, yes, Minister, we will be there. We'll support our law enforcement partners like we've never done before, with boots on the ground, working alongside our law enforcement partners. Their role, Canadians may not know, is FinTrack, but they do a very important role. They can monitor financial transactions that are reported to them by financial institutions in the country. So their role is to help investigators, which will identify patterns, trace illicit funds, and intervene before further harm is done. As part of this effort, FinTrack will implement a new targeted indicator profile on extortion, which will be shared with financial institutions across the country to help the people recognize suspicious transactions with a series of red flags so that they can be equipped to report quickly and effectively the suspicious transactions to relevant authorities. What we're saying, in other words, we're going to make life very difficult for criminals around the country. I'm also announcing a new countering extortion partnership between FinTrack and the private sector. This is something that we have tried before in fentanyl, and we are reactivating. This partnership will strengthen awareness, improve information sharing, and help ensure that businesses and financial institutions are equipped to recognize and report signs of extortion-related financial activity. So for Canadians who are watching at home today, what we're saying is that the whole financial community is coming together to combat extortion so that criminals won't be able to hide with stolen money. Like I said before, enough is enough. We're going to find you, we're going to distract, disrupt, deter you from targeting families and business owners in this community and other communities across the nation. As I said, the Canadian FinTrack liaison officers will work directly with law enforcement in targeted areas of our country, including here in Peel and in Ontario, but also in BC and in Alberta, to support the to ensure that financial intelligence is used properly and effectively to support investigation and enforcement action. Finally, FinTrack will also publish new strategic intelligence. So we will define patterns. We will see how people operate. And I have bad news for criminals. We will publish that, how you operate, what you're doing, and how you're doing it, so that the intelligence will be published will be around laundering, how laundering of proceeds from extortion is done, so to help law enforcement and financial institutions across the country identify emerging trends and strengthen prevention efforts. Because when we expose how they operate, it's going to help all the financial institutions in the country to help us and deter and detect these crimes. This will be a coordinated effort, bringing together federal agencies, many of them are represented today, that are maybe not known to Canadians, but they do very important work. Local police, and I want to thank again the police of Peel and other law enforcement partners, financial institutions, businesses, and communities across the country. Because dismantling these networks requires collaboration, it requires bold actions and relentless focus and attention. And I even said to the mayor that we'll be back in 30 days to see if it works. If it doesn't work enough, we'll have to double down and look at other means that we can put in terms of financial intelligence working with our partner. As Mayor Brown of Brampton recently said, if you disrupt the money, you weaken the threat. And I agree with that. This is exactly what we're doing today with our Follow the Money strategy. We are doing exactly what you said, Mayor. And I want to thank him as well, because we had the pleasure to exchange and understand the importance of what we're announcing this morning. And I'd like to thank all the representatives from our partners that are here today, including Canada's financial institution and credit unions, for their continued effort. And I want to say thank you particularly to our police force. They're on the front line of this. And we're giving more tools in the toolbox to fight crimes, and we will be there with them along this journey. L'annonce d'aujourd'hui s'appuie sur les mesures prévues dans le budget 2025 pour mieux protéger les Canadiens et les entreprises canadiennes contre les crimes financiers et les récentes annonces qui ont été faites par le ministre de la Sécurité publique. Nous avons investi près d'1,7 milliard de dollars pour renforcer les capacités de la GRC, notamment en embauchant 1000 nouveaux agents, aussi 1000 nouveaux agents des services frontaliers, dont 150 seront dédiés spécifiquement à la lutte contre les crimes financiers. Nous avons également déposé un projet de loi, le projet de loi C-12, visant à renforcer le système d'immigration et la frontière du Canada afin de mieux détecter, dissuader, perturber le blanchiment d'argent, notamment en renforçant la supervision, la conformité et l'application du régime de lutte contre le blanchiment d'argent. And Budget 2025 announced the creation of a new financial crime agency, which I'm very pleased and proud, as the lead agency, which will investigate complex financial crimes, including extortion, organized crime, fraud, and to recover illicit proceeds. As you can see, we're stepping up in a big, big way to have more tools in our toolbox to go after criminal and combat extortion. Many different form and sophisticated type of crimes are evolving, and we need to evolve with them as well so that we have the best tools and the best options, and we'll continue to work with our G7 partner as well to learn best practices. Canada's strength has always come from its communities, the people who are watching at home and expect us to be there for them. And this is why this work matters more than ever. Because behind every investigation is a person, a shop owner, a worker who depends on their job, a family that deserves to feel safe in their neighborhood. To those who have been targeted, I want to say you're not alone. We stand with you, law enforcement stand with you, and Canada stand with you. And we will use every tool available to protect you and hold criminals to account. Criminals will feel the pressure as we detect, disrupt, and counter their activities, and communities and families should feel the benefit from our actions. In conclusion, I would say let's be bold and double down on our efforts. Let's be quick in our actions to increase the sense of security in our community, and together, let's fight extortion. Merci, mesdames et messieurs. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you, everyone. Good morning. Bonjour et tous. Minister Champagne, thank you so much for your leadership and welcoming you to Peel. Today is an honor for all of us. We stand together as we fight crime in our communities, and so thank you for making this announcement today in Mississauga. I also want to thank Mayor Parrish, of course, and our men and women in office in uniforms, the RCMP, Peel Regional Police Force, Deputy Chief Milonovich. Thank you so much for all the work that you do to keep our communities safe every single day. I'm especially proud to be here as the Member of Parliament for Brampton East and Canada's Minister of International Trade, standing alongside partners as we battle extortion. Extortion has no place in our communities. Extortion is not just a financial crime, as we heard from the Minister. It is a crime that threatens families, targets business owners, and undermines the sense of safety that every Canadian deserves to feel safe in their homes, in their community. Here in Peel Region, especially in Brampton, we have seen firsthand the impacts these criminal networks can have. Small business owners who have worked hard to build something special, meaningful, are being threatened. Families are being intimidated, and this is unacceptable, and our government will not tolerate it. Our new government has been clear. Being tough on crime means being tough on extortion. Protecting Canadians and protecting our communities is our first and foremost priority. Today's announcements represents real, concrete action to deliver on that commitment. By supporting FinTrack to dedicate more resources toward combating extortion, we are strengthening Canada's ability to follow the money, identify criminal networks, and disrupt their operations. It means dedicated financial intelligence experts will work directly with law enforcement in communities here in Mississauga, Brampton, and across Canada, helping ensure local police have the tools and expertise they need to act quickly and effectively. And it means strengthening collaboration between governments, law enforcement, financial institutions, and regulators to ensure we are working together to protect Canadians. Because the reality is that many of these criminal networks operate across jurisdictions. They operate online, they operate in sophisticated and coordinated ways. Our response must be just as coordinated, just as sophisticated, and just as determined. This announcement builds on the broader actions our government is taking to crack down on organized crime and protect Canadians. We are investing $1.7 billion to strengthen the RCMP and support their work combating organized crime and financial crime. We are establishing a new Canada Financial Crimes Agency to lead the fight against money laundering, fraud, and criminal financial networks. And we are strengthening laws and enforcement tools to ensure criminals are held accountable for their actions. Through legislation, we are strengthening the consequences for serious offenses, including extortion, with tougher sentences and keeping violent and repeat offenders out of our communities. We are giving law enforcement and financial intelligence agencies stronger tools to disrupt organized crime, crack down on money laundering, and stop criminal networks at their source. And we will continue to engage with all levels of government to keep our communities safe. Everyone deserves the peace of mind that comes from knowing that their government is standing with them. This is exactly what we are doing today, and that is exactly what we will continue to do. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be here to represent the riding of Mississauga-Streetsville. Welcome, Minister Champagne, to Mississauga. Honored to stand with many of my colleagues, law enforcement, all the financial institutions. As you've heard today already, we stand together to ensure that we're going to tackle the extortions that is happening in our country, particularly in Mississauga, Brampton, and of course out west in BC. Before entering public service, I was a small business owner right here in Mississauga. I started my business while raising my 2 kids. And like every entrepreneur, I put my heart into making sure that that business succeeds. When you run a small business, it is very personal. Your business represents years of sacrifice and the future you're building for your family. And that is why extortion is so devastating. When organized crime targets businesses and in our neighborhoods, it's not only the demand for money, it creates fear. It disrupts our operations, it puts entrepreneurs, employees, and families in danger. And this is completely unacceptable. And that is why today's announcement matters so much to small business owners here in Peel Region and right across the country. When we strengthen financial intelligence and improve coordination across institutions, we make it harder for those networks, those criminal networks, to profit from intimidation and violence. We disrupt their ability to move money, and we make it harder for them to target small businesses. So for entrepreneurs, this means earlier detection of suspicious activity, faster disruption of criminal networks, and stronger prevention efforts to stop extortion before it escalates. These new measures announced today are about protecting families. They are about protecting jobs, and they are about protecting the confidence that allows communities to grow and for small businesses to thrive. And here in Peel Region, that commitment is reinforced by our $1 million in federal funding to strengthen Peel Regional Police's work to combat extortion, support victims, and disrupt criminal networks targeting local businesses. And this commitment was previously announced by Minister Gary Ananda Sandegri. So to the entrepreneurs in Peel Region and across Canada, we see the risks you take, we value the work that you do, and we are committed to ensuring that you build, invest, and thrive in safety and with confidence. So thank you again to Mayor Parrish for having us here, and the commitment of everyone, and particularly our law enforcement who continuously support us to protect us each and every day. So thank you all.
Good morning, bonjour tout le monde. My name is Shafkat Ali. I'm a member of Parliament for Brampton Chinguacousy Park and the president of the Treasury Board of Canada. First of all, I would like to thank Madam Mayor, Madam Parrish. She's actually the one I started politics with. I was on her EDA when I started my journey, political journey.
You did well.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your leadership on this issue. And I also like to thank our Minister of Good News. Actually, he's Minister of Finance, but every time he comes, he brings good news. Thank you, Minister Champagne, for your leadership. We've been working together in this new government very closely, whether it's expenditure review, whether it's red tape review, whether it's community safety fundings, building communities, or all other initiatives. But this is very important announcement you have made today, very important step you have taken, and this is really a great news for the residents of Peel and all Ontario and all Canada. Thank you for your leadership. Crime has been devastating. Extortion crime, it created fears. It created uncertainty. It created bad impact on businesses. And I like to thank our law enforcement agencies, their reps, council. We have Deputy Mayor from Brampton. We have council member from Mississauga. And I see some members of Peel Board, Peel Police Board. Thank you all for your leadership, for your advocacy. I also like to thank the people behind cameras, taking this message to Canadians. Thank you for your service. I hear directly from community members about their concern when it comes to crime, especially extortion. Actually, I have few residents of Brampton Chinguacousy Park who were targeted. And I can understand, and I know how painful it is, how devastating it is, that to address that issue, today, Minister Champagne took this action to crack down on those criminals, to go after them. Thank you, Mr. Champagne, once again. And far too many people have been affected by the rise in extortion. And we know that strong communities are built on safe communities. The measures Minister Champagne has announced today will make a real difference for Bramptonians, for residents across the Greater Toronto Area, for Canadians who have been victims of financial crimes linked to extortion. Safety is not a partisan issue. It requires all of us working together, federal, provincial, and municipal government, as well as members from all parties to protect our communities. And thank you for our provincial counterparts for being here. Actually, I had an opportunity to meet with Premier Ford, and we had this conversation that we need to work together especially on this issue, because this is essential. This is a right for every Canadian to feel safe. And as Minister Champagne noted, we established the new Financial Crimes Agency in Budget 2025. This is an important step, bringing together expertise from across government to better combat extortion, organized crime, and fraud. Minister Champagne, once again, thank you for today's announcement. Bramptonians and all Canadians will be safer because of these actions. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. And before I go, happy Ramadan to all of those who are fasting today, because I'm fasting and my mouth is dry. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bonjour tout le monde. Un plaisir d'être ici avec vous ce matin. As mentioned, extortion is a very serious criminal activity that threatens Canadians and Canadian communities. It also generates significant profits for organized crime groups. Those profits are often laundered through Canada's financial systems and are used to facilitate their broader criminal enterprises. FINTRAC has been actively engaged in supporting law enforcement efforts to combat this terrible crime. Over the past 2 years, our financial intelligence related to extortion has identified 46 subjects for police investigation involving 11,000 financial transactions. This intelligence was provided to police in 7 different jurisdictions across Canada. Today's announcement is about accelerating and deepening our support in relation to this key priority. In the immediate terms, we are deploying financial intelligence officers to engage directly with local police to bolster existing relationships and provide on-the-ground financial intelligence expertise. This will ensure that law enforcement will be able to fully leverage our intelligence in their extortion-related investigations and disrupting those activities. As the Minister has shared, we are also focusing our resources and expertise to work in partnership with businesses such as Canada Financial Institutions to identify the financial transaction trends and typologies related to extortion. We will be developing expedited targeted indicator profiles, or tip sheets, on indicators of extortion. These profiles will support financial institutions and other businesses in identifying the latest money laundering practices related to extortion. By sharing indicators through trusted channels on an expedited basis, we will improve the timeliness and quality of suspicion transaction reporting to FINTRAC. In turn, this will enhance our ability to provide actionable financial intelligence to local police related to extortion. In addition, we'll be collaborating with private sector businesses in developing and publishing a special bulletin on trends, methods, and indicators of money laundering associated with extortion. In this work, FINTRAC will benefit from the frontline perspective of businesses that have adopted leading-edge detection techniques. Our work with local police will also ensure that their expertise and on-the-ground knowledge inform our advice and guidance. The resulting special bulletin will further assist businesses in identifying and reporting transactions related to extortion and facilitate our production of actionable financial intelligence in support of law enforcement investigation. Under the direction of Minister Champagne, Minister of Finance and National Revenue, we are mobilizing FINTRAC's resources in a way that responds to the seriousness of this threat, and we are taking immediate action to support our financial sector stakeholders and law enforcement partners. Merci beaucoup.
Last but not least, To start, I would like to echo thanks that you've heard here today. Obviously, like to thank Minister Champagne for his support today, the other federal ministers, members of provincial parliament, members of parliament, our councillors from Brampton and Mississauga, and members of our police services board. The reality is that currently extortion is one of the most serious public safety threats that faces not only Peel region, but our country on a national level. I would like to thank the federal government for recognizing that risk to our communities. This really is about protecting businesses, our communities, and the people that make those communities up. I would like to provide some context. And when I do that, I'm going to share some statistics around Peel, but it's important to understand that this is not just a Peel issue. This is a national issue, which is why it's so important that the collection of people that you see standing here behind me are a part of the solution to this issue. Families are being targeted, as you've heard. This crime occurs as a result of fear that's created in the community, and the motivation is about money. Last year alone, in Peel, we had 476 extortion incidents reported to us. Of those 476, 190 targeted our business community. That business community is made up of families and people that are working hard to make our community and Canada a better place to be. In those 190 incidents, 29 resulted in shootings and arsons. Many of those have been captured on social media. Many in this room have seen those incidents, and it is creating fear in our community. That is not just a statistic. It represents hundreds of people who are living in fear and forced to live with the experiences they've had. And the reality is while it's not just Peel, we are on the forefront of this battle. And it's one of the reasons why our police service has launched an all-on offensive towards addressing that. Not just doing what you would expect from a police service in terms of enforcement, but making sure our community feels safe and preventing these offenses. I've said this many times. This is the wrong community for people to come to and target for crimes like extortions. This is the wrong police service to try to attempt those types of things. And I think what you see here today is a demonstration of that. We were one of the first police services to launch an extortion task force, which has today grown to, just from Peel, over 40 full-time investigators, some of which you see standing behind me today, who are working around the clock to investigate these offenses and keep our community safe. But policing alone is not the entire answer. We need support, like the announcement we hear today. We need support from FinTrack, from the collection of people that have spoken today in order to address extortions. We are currently formalizing partnerships in addition with the support we're going to have today from FinTrack. We're formalizing partnerships with our provincial partners, our federal partners, and this will be, as I said earlier, one of the largest police efforts in responding to a serious community crime and concern that I, in 26 years, have ever had the opportunity or displeasure to be a part of. And we will continue to make arrests, to lay charges, and make sure that anybody that comes to our community is held accountable for doing that. In addition to the enforcement, we will continue to look for partnerships and opportunities that make us more effective in being able to achieve those objectives. Again, today's a great example of that. Extortion is not random. It is about money. Follow the money, and you find the people responsible for extortions and a variety of other transnational crimes. So while today this partnership is important in extortions, tomorrow it will be important in other crimes as well. Financial intelligence is not just a support tool. It is a frontline tool towards keeping our communities safe. Again, it allows us to identify networks faster and to make sure that it is less rewarding for the people that are taking advantage of our communities. And then finally, I'll never, miss an opportunity. We see today as kind of an outcome of really asking and conversations that we've had towards making ourselves better in this space and fighting extortion. Today's not the end of the conversation. There are other opportunities where we can pull different organizations together and do different things in order to make it better for our communities in relation to extortions. Our service will continue to advocate for lawful access. I would not miss the opportunity to share that. Our ability to obtain information in a lawful, judicially approved manner expediently is crucial to extortions today and our ability to investigate those, but also to the crime or the next crime trend that we will be investigating several years from now. Of course, you've heard about justice and bail reform and some of the work that's being done there. Again, that is a conversation that absolutely needs to continue. Similar to our community wanting to see us arrest and charge people, they also want to feel that justice is being upheld and that their protection and rights are being protected. In closing, the final message I would leave, and I'd like to speak directly to our community. I want them to rest assured that we have absolutely organized ourselves in a way that will help protect them, and we are going to win this battle against extortion. And we are going to continue that battle until we do win that battle. So thank you very much.
We will now begin question period.
We are going to forego the questions. Let me leave your comments and suggestions, your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for joining us this morning. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. We'll be back.